Hello, everybody. We're going to continue learning about basic graph shapes and graph functions of the graph or features of the graph. So because we talked about the basic tan function, we can go back to this example and just continue looking at our chart here. For the tan function, there's no amplitude value, but that's not applicable because we saw that tan stretches to infinity and positive infinity and negative infinity. The period is pi over 2 because we have a b value of 2. So if I did 2 pi, and the period for tan is only pi over b because it only takes pi radians to do one full cycle. So if I do pi divided by 2, I get pi over 2. And then the domain for this function, because it is compressed, all of those asymptotes are squished because it's only taking pi over 2 to do a full cycle instead of pi. All of the asymptotes are also squished together. So instead of being every pi over 2, it's starting at pi over 2, it's pi over 4, and every pi over 4 plus k times pi over 2. The range, however, is y belongs to all real numbers because it can take on any value. So if I take a look at some examples from your book, if I have a function like y equals sine of bx, and I know that the function has a period of 6 pi, I need to figure out what this value is. I'm going to take the period, which is 2 pi over b, and I'm going to take that formula, but I'm going to replace the period with 6 pi, and I'm going to figure out what b would give me this value. So solving for b, I get 1/3. Likewise, if I want the period to equal pi over 2, then I know that 2 pi over some value must be pi over 12. Sorry, pi over 12, not pi over 2. And so I isolate for b, and I find out that b is 24. And one last example, if I want to do a sketch of the graph, it helps to sketch the basic graph first. So I'm going to sketch my basic graph of cosine x with my key points 1, 0, pi over 2, 0, pi and -1, 3 pi over 2 and 0, and 2 pi and 1. Now, I know it has to have an amplitude of 3. So that means I'm going to take every y value and I'm going to multiply it by 3. And the period is 2 pi over 2, or just pi. I need this whole thing to happen in just pi radians. So I'm going to take every x, and I'm going to, even though it looks like multiplying here, it's wacky brackets, so I'm going to divide every x by 2. So my original point 0, 1, I'm going to divide the x by 2, multiply the y by 3, and I get this point 0, 3. My original point pi over 2 and 0, this one right here, I'm going to divide the x by 2 and multiply the y by 3. That takes me that takes me over here to pi over 4 and 0. If I take pi and -1, if I divide the pi by 2, multiply the -1 by 3, this point has now translated over here. If I take my 3 pi over 2 and 0 point, and I divide the x by 2, multiply the y by 3, this point now translates over here. And last, if I take this point, 2 pi and 1, divide my x by 2, that takes me to here, and multiply my y's by 3, that takes me up here. So now I have the translated version of my function. Thank you and have a great day. Continue to the next video, please.